Good morning, everybody. All right, 2 Samuel chapter 1, verses 1 through 16. After the death of Saul, David returned from defeating the Amalekites and stayed in Ziklag for 2 days. On the third day, a man arrived from Saul's camp with his clothes torn and with dust on his head. When he came to David, he fell to the ground to pay him honor. "Where have you come from?" David asked him. He answered, "I have escaped from the Israelite camp." "What happened?" David asked. "Tell me." He said, "The men fled from the battle. Many of them fell and died, and Saul and his son Jonathan are dead." Then David said to the young man who brought him the report, "How do you know that Saul and his son Jonathan are dead?" "I happened to be on Mount Gilboa," the young man said, "and there was Saul leaning on his spear with the chariots and riders almost upon him. When he turned around and saw me, he called out to me, and I said, 'What can I do?' He asked me, 'Who are you?' An Amalekite,' I answered. Then he said to me, 'Stand over me and kill me. I am in the throes of death, but I'm still alive.' So I stood over him and killed him, because I knew that after he had fallen he could not survive. And I took the crown that was on his head and band that on his arm, and have brought them here to my Lord." Then David and all the men with him took hold of their clothes and tore them. They mourned and wept and fasted till evening for Saul and his son Jonathan, and for the army of the Lord and the house of Israel, because they had fallen by the sword. David said to the young man who brought him the report, "Where are you from?" "I am the son of an alien, an Amalekite," he answered. David asked him, "Why were you not afraid to lift your hand to destroy the Lord's anointed?" Then David called one of his men and said, "Go strike him down." So he struck him down, and he died. For David had said to him, "Your blood be on your own head. Your own mouth testified against you when you said, 'I killed the Lord's anointed.'" Maintain your integrity. During a roundtable discussion with other ministry leaders about recruiting and retaining volunteers, one veteran student minister shared that he would take prospective volunteers to lunch and see how they handled themselves. He shared the story of one prospect who pocketed a couple of small sauce packets that would have cost no more than a few cents. His integrity as a spiritual leader was worth less than $1, so he was not invited to work with the student ministry. David had long been pursued by King Saul out of jealousy, because David had received the blessing from Samuel to be king. In a climatic battle, Saul and his son Jonathan were killed, and this opened the door for David to be king. But rather than gloat in his opportunity, he did what he had done for years. He honored the Lord by serving Saul and remaining a loyal servant. When faced with the prospect of riches and power, David maintained his integrity. And rather than reward this Amalekite in the story, he ordered his execution for raising his hand against Saul, God's anointed servant. Your integrity as a man is worth far more than sauce packets, and it's worth more than the treasures and power that comes from being king. It's often said that integrity is who you are when no one is watching, and the nature of our integrity, or who we really are on the inside, will show itself when there are no consequences. David had the chance to glory in his opportunity because what Samuel had promised him about becoming the king had come to pass. But rather than do that, he maintained who he was and remained faithful to the Lord. When questionable opportunities come up at work or in business, maintain your integrity. In doing so, your witness for the Lord will remain strong. Father, help me to have integrity in all things, especially in things no one knows about. Has your integrity been tested recently? In what way? What safeguards can you put in your life to protect your integrity? I hope y'all have a great day.